There we go.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, Alex?
It's going well. Had a bit of an issue logging in, but it's working now. So that's the important part.
It wouldn't be a webinar if it's Zoho, Zoom, or whatever, if you didn't have some technical issue at this point.
True. How are you doing?
Quite well. We're finally getting some sunshine over here. I don't know if you can tell with the glare from my window. So I'm doing in a much better mood, although it's still quite cold over here. I don't know what the weather is like for you, but it's been pretty miserable.
Well, here we are thinking positive about the future because it's been raining for about 3 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
The more it rains, the prettier the spring will be. So
Very true.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
And how goes I gotta ask, how goes the beer brewing? I gotta know. You're still waiting for that next
Uh,
batch?
Yeah, it's going well. The first batches were kind of off. Now
Right, you were
I'm
saying.
getting in the groove of it, so it's going better. Yeah.
Yeah. What type of are you doing more fruity, more stout, more
Yeah, it's for the first thing is going to be like a citrusy pale ale type thing.
very
So
nice.
not really fruity, but has some sweet taste to it.
I like that. So for those of you who are confused, Alex has started recently brewing his own beer, so I was just trying to get some updates out of him, and hopefully maybe a free case next time I see him in person.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. The batches are limited, and
Right.
I don't have a big capacity, but I'll try to keep some aside for you.
I appreciate it. It's the thought that counts. Even if I get one bottle, I'll be a very happy camper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, listen, we're gonna give a few more minutes. We were definitely early. I like to open this up early so I'm one of those people when there's a webinar, I'll join early as well, turn off my camera and just kind of get set up. So similar here, it's only 2 o'clock. We'll wait till maybe around 2:02, 2:03. And then of course we'll get started. As you can see at the bottom, to everyone watching, it is recorded. So don't worry if you have to step out or whatever. We will have a recording that is automatically sent to you. And then on top of it, we also upload it to our website and YouTube channel. So you have many ways to watch this recording. So don't feel stressed to be here the whole time or to, if you join late. Okay. Make sure I roll up my sleeves as well so I don't get in the way of all the keyboard typing, all the mouse clicking I need to do.
Yeah, it's difficult work.
Yeah, I know. I'm one to complain working from home all the time, having to roll up my sleeves. Okay. I think I asked you this, but you're not taking, because I know you just took time off recently, but I think you said maybe later in the year, if anything, you're gonna take time off.
I'm planning sometime August, I think. Got some holidays around that, so probably just connect them, see the
Nice.
family.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do the same. We have some holidays in Canada around end of June, early July, and gonna try to take advantage of that, and make a longer break.
Yeah, it's always great when you spend 5 days and get 20 days of vacation.
Awesome. Okay, listen, we're 2:02. I'm trying to be also aware of everyone's time, and I don't want to have to take up the full hour if we don't need to. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Office Hours. You may be wondering why I'm talking and where is Astrid. Well, I have some great news to share. She actually just left on maternity leave. So she will be away for, I guess, a year and a half. I don't know how our policy works, to be honest, but she'll be back at some point in time. But in her place, we are left in very good hands with Alex, who some of you may know. He also works in the support team, and he's going to be here basically as my eyes and ears. The one thing about Zoho is sometimes when you share a screen, you don't really see what's going on. So he'll be monitoring the chat, or the Q&A, I should say, for any questions. That brings me to the next point. So you'll notice as well, if this is your first time office hours, you don't have any cameras. You have reacts, which I saw someone clap. So that's great. Appreciate that. But there is a Q&A section. So I highly, highly recommend, as I go through the demo, to type out your questions as you have them come to you, because if not, you're probably going to forget. And then, of course, we're going to answer as many questions as we can at the end. But if we don't get a chance to it, you can always reach out to, I believe, hello at, right, Alex, is the email you guys prefer?
That's right.
Fantastic. So hello at if we don't have a chance to answer your question. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So today we're going to be covering all the very, very exciting features that were released in Q1. There's a lot to go through, so I'll do my best to be brief, but also in depth. So you kind of get a sense of what's been released. But if you have, again, questions in the Q&A, or we do have, like, I've been recording so many YouTube videos, so many tutorials. I know Alex has been writing a lot of help desk articles. There's a lot of different ways you can learn about these things if ever you want to learn more. So I highly recommend checking that out. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I do this right. And I'm going to rely on you, Alex, to let me know if I did it right. Yes, allow settings. Okay. Can you see my screen, Alex?
Give it just a second, and yeah, we can see it.
Fantastic. All right. So let's dive right in. The first thing I want to cover in, I guess, the features I released is something very brief. Sorry, not brief, something we covered on earlier, which is the new report section. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. We did a whole office hours and we did a lot of tutorials for this, but I did want to mention this is one of the things, if you haven't seen, we have a completely revamped reporting section with these beautiful filters that you can use to filter the data, as well as adjust the columns. It's still the same report that you know and love, but just I think in a cleaner presentation overall. On top of it, the company audit logs as well as scheduling reports can all be found in the new report section. And on top of it, if you're not a fan of these, which I know some people are resistant to change, you can always click go on the old reports and it'll take you back to the old style of the reports. So you still have access to this for at least the time being. I know at some point the plan is to sunset these, but for sure, check these out if you haven't already. Oops, click the wrong button here. Moving on, something that's new, something you might not know of. We actually implemented recently what I like to call better precision for requests. What this means is essentially now when a user goes to request leave, as I wait for my screen here, you'll see here that when they select a date, this is all normal, but now in the time slots, you can go down to the 15-minute increments, which is great. You know, sometimes someone takes off or they get to work at 8:15, so they need an hour off. So they'll request, 9:15 to 10:15, which is great. It's not just your standard 8 to 9 or 9 to 10. You can see you can go half-hour increments as well. So a small but mighty change, and something I just wanted to mention in case you didn't know. Another small change that was highly requested, and again, in the same category of small but mighty, is we've added emails to the user profiles, which I know was a bit of a pain point for some people. So you'll see here on the user profile, very neatly presented is just the email. Again, small but mighty, but I think important, worth mentioning. And obviously, as I go on, I'm going to talk about the more exciting stuff, but I would be doing a bad job if I didn't mention some of these smaller things. The last small but mighty kind of category is another thing you might not be aware of, but it's actually language preferences. So I live in Montreal, Quebec. So I speak French, and sometimes, I have to do things in French. So it's good to have that option as well. And you can see on top of it, we have a whole whack of other languages that any user can change at any time. So if there's a preferred language or their first language is something else besides English, they can always go in and have it automatically, as you see here, updated and changed. I'm going to stick with English because I suspect the majority of you speak in English as I do. But again, just a nice feature to have, just things that are just very helpful. All right, let's move on to, I think, more exciting things than just language preferences and precision. We completely reworked how custom holidays work. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to start going into it now before I forget and just start talking, is that in the past, I know it was a bit more of a headache to create these custom holidays. I know we have a great bank of holidays that you can access. And if you're not sure how to do that, again, for sure, reach out to Hello at support and they can guide you through it. But now when you go to click add a holiday here, you'll be brought to this new custom screen, which I really like. It's very simple, very elegant, but it just makes it so much easier. So let's say you had a holiday, for example, I know Easter's coming up for a lot of companies, and you have a special way that you give days off for Easter. What I like about this is right away you can make it recurring or not. You can choose if you want it to be a single, multi-day, or even just a half day. You can choose when it recurs. So obviously every year the calendar shifts a little bit. So do you want it to be on the exact date, or is it on the specific days of the month? For example, the second Wednesday of May Obviously, that's not when Easter is. I'm just giving a very loose example. But you can see here, you can customize this specifically how you want. So you have that exact custom holiday made. And you can also, as a last step, have it transferred to the working day if it happens to fall on a weekend. So all just great stuff. So I'm going to actually just create this right now for fun, since this is a demo account, doesn't impact anyone's holiday. You can see here, once you click add, you will have now a nice little tag that lets you know it's a custom holiday. So now when you import, the existing bank of holidays that we have and you start creating custom ones, you can easily tell at a glance that, okay, this is my custom holiday. This is from the library. Just a great feature. Again, all about making things easier, making things less hands-on. Once you set this up once, if you set it up exactly how you want it, you don't have to touch it ever again. Every year, it'll automatically create the holiday for you, the custom holiday for you, and you're done. You can leave it, which is fantastic news. Moving on from holidays, another kind of big update that you may have seen, we've been talking about a lot recently, is multi-level approvals. So I'm going to go to a department here because that's where you manage approvers. We're going to click on edit department. And now you'll see when you go to the approval flow section, it's been revamped a little bit. So instead of having just one approver or multiple approvers, and then multiple users, you can now choose the approval flow. And what I mean by that is if you want the approval for someone's time off request to go through multiple levels. So let's say there's Alex and myself right here. Alex, I'm going to make you the CEO of the company. So let's say, for example, my employee is requesting time off. First, it would go through me, who is a manager, and then I'd want to go to Alex, who is, let's say, the CEO for that second level approver. And that way now they have to go through 2 levels of approval before they get sign off. Doesn't seem like a lot. I know most companies tend to work on a single level approval kind of flow. You'd be surprised. A lot of people like having this. The other thing that's very notable, and I'll mention it here as well, is you'll see this section here, which is optional, which is called Notify Watchers After Final Approval. What that is essentially, let's say you have someone, for example, an executive assistant who is not necessarily a part of the approval process, but wants to be notified of people taking time off. All they need to do now is just enter their email address. I'm going to put mine in as an example. Please don't email me. I'm not very helpful when it comes to vacation tracker help. But as you can see here, that's all it took. Now, whenever an approval goes through this process and someone gets their time off approved, I guess I got to put a second level approver here. Here we go, put Alex in there. I will be notified of their approval. So I can add it to my calendar so I can know, hey, this person's out of office, so I won't make appointments for them, or any other scenario you can think of. Very helpful to do. This I'll mention as well is only for the complete plan only when it comes to the multi-level approval. I believe, don't correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I think email notifications of the watchers might also be complete plan as well. I know for sure multi-level approval is email watchers. I'm not too certain if I'm being honest.
I think so as well. Yeah.
Okay. I think, yeah. Anyways, yeah, you'll see right away if you go into your account, if you go to the billing section, you'll see what plan you're on, whether it's core complete. Obviously, because I'm on a demo account, I'm on complete. And then there you'll be able to tell if you have access to the feature. But yeah, very, very great stuff. Wow, we're going super quick. Am I going too fast, Alex? I don't know. I feel like I'm going at a blistering pace right now for all these features.
No, this looks like a good pace. I think the HR notifications or watcher notifications are a great feature that a lot of our clients asked for. At least when it comes to them talking to me, I know people want their HR not really involved with the approval flow, but actually just having the note of who took the time off. So that's great.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, if everyone's okay with the pace, I'll continue to the last, and I think maybe with some of the most exciting stuff is our 2 new add-ons. As a quick refresher, add-ons are additional things that you can add on to your current plan, hence the name add-on. I know, very clever. They usually cost 50 cents per user per month, and you can toggle these on or off at any time. They're plug and play essentially. And what I like about them is they're very specific use case scenarios. A lot of these probably won't apply to everyone, but sometimes you have that one annoying scenario where it's like, man, I wish this was automated, or I wish there was just an easier way to do this. And that's where add-ons come in. Any admin can go in and activate an add-on. You don't need our intervention. You don't need to talk to our sales team. You don't need to talk to Alex. You can just go in, you'll go here to the Discover More Add-ons tab, and then you'll click on Purchase and Activate. In my case, since I'm using a demo account, obviously I have all of them activated because, what's the point of not having them activated? But yeah, that's what essentially all the steps you need to activate them, excuse me. You'll also notice here that there's some coming soon ones. So from time to time, when we have stuff in the pipeline, we'll put some add-ons that are coming in the near future. So definitely check back every once in a while. Maybe at this point in time, you have no use for add-ons, but maybe there's a use case that comes on your desk suddenly, and you're like, oh man, it'd be a great way to have this automated. So check here. You never know, it might be here. And additionally, if ever you feel like there's something missing, or you want something to be automated, or you need a feature, you click on Request Add-on here. You send this an email, and we will see if we can put it on the roadmap. And I'll tell you right now, we go through all of these emails whenever they come in, so don't be shy about reaching out to us. So the two add-ons I want to talk about today is the max users away and the leave duration limit. And I'll go through these one at a time. We'll start with the max users away. So in this case, what I like about vacation trackers are very self-explanatory. So the name itself kind of gives it away, but essentially what this is it allows you to create a policy for the maximum amount of users at your company that could be away at the same time. So I think the best use case for a scenario that I've seen for this is usually around the summertime, right? A lot of employees like to take time off. You want to make sure that, not your entire team is off at the same time. And yeah, you can always, manually go through it one by one, but when you're a larger organization, kind of takes its toll on you, right? To do that manual checking every so often. So in this case, I'll go through the process of creating a dummy policy so you can see how it works, but it's super intuitive. I'm going to call mine summer leave. You pick the period in which you want to active. So I'll pick May to end of August, as I think that'll capture more or less the summer. Decide whether or not it recurs annually. So I'll go yes, because I want this to happen every summer. And then you choose the limitation. Do you want to limit the percentage? So you want to say maybe 50% of my staff can be away, or maybe you're a team of 20 and you want to target, for example, I'm part of the marketing team. So I know my marketing team is 10 people. I want to have only half of them. So I have a number in mind, which is 5. You can do that as well. I'll do percentage since it's easier. I don't want to have any error messages pop it up, but just know that you can do that. And then the last part in this section is choosing a response. So when someone goes to request time off, this is the little message I'll appear and say, sorry, we have this policy. You're not allowed to take time off at this point in time. We always provide you with a kind of boilerplate message, but it's good to know that you can customize this. You can add whatever you want inside of here if you feel like it doesn't really represent your company's tone. The second half of this kind of form, so the first half was to assign the parameters. The second half is the application. So who does it get applied to? If it's a blanket policy, it's going to all your users. Great. Just check yes, pick the leave types you want it to be applied to, and then click save. If you want to create this, department by department or location by location, that's also a great tactic as well. So in this case, let's say I want to do it by departments and I want to do it by, operations, marketing, legal, I can do that as well. For the sake of the demo, again, I'm going to just click all. So it's easier, but you can see here, it's very customizable how you want this applied. In this case, I'm going to remove things like, working remotely, jury duty, and sick leave, since those are kind of like outside of your control or pre-planned, but for sure, paid time off or PTO, I want that to be applied to. You'll see here, I click save, done. It's loading, it's added, it's activated to my account, nothing to it. I'm done with this add-on. So now when a user goes in, they request time off, they will get that notification if it's within May to August, as well as if there's more than 50% of users away. Quite simple. I love it. What's great about this too is, let's say, maybe the policy is not working, you can just deactivate it right there. So you'll see here, it'll give you a warning, letting you know if you deactivate it, you'll have to unsubscribe if you actually don't want to pay for it anymore. But in this case, I just want to deactivate for the time being. You'll see, boom, done. It's toggled off. Now my users won't be affected. And if ever I need to return on, let's say, for example, I want to turn it back on the following year, or I want to change the dates, I'll make some edits, toggle back on. Super, super simple. I love it. Again, click on it to make edits. That is max users away in a nutshell. Again, I highly recommend reading our articles, our videos. I probably do a better job of explaining it in the video. But with such limited time, I'm trying to do my best to be, again, succinct, but also in depth as much as possible. Okay. We're doing great on time here. This is fantastic. We'll dive in right away now into the other add-on I want to cover, which is leave duration limit. So again, I think the name kind of gives it away. I'm going to click create policy here, but essentially this is a way to enact a limit on the minimum and maximums when it comes to time off requests. So again, this would be helpful if you have a company where you don't want users requesting, let's say you give 4 or 5 weeks vacation, you don't want them to request all at once. Maybe that's part of the policy you have in place, or maybe it's you want them to at least request 1 or 2 days in advance. Sorry, not in advance, excuse me, as a minimum. You can do whatever with this. That's what I love. I'm just going to call mine leave duration limit policy as an example. And similar to max users away, you'll have the two halves, the parameters of the policy and then who it gets applied to. So for a period, let's say I want to have it as of yesterday all the way till, we'll do end of the year for fun. And then I'll say no this time for recurring annually. Maybe it's just like a temporary policy in place. So you can see here, now I'm going to set the minimum in terms of leave duration. I'll put 1, and the maximum we'll do, let's say 2 business weeks, which is 10 days. Similarly, like I mentioned, we always do provide you with that boilerplate kind of reject response, but I always recommend, I always tell people it's worthwhile to customize this so it doesn't feel too robotic. You really want, this is where you can really inject your company culture or your company into this. So highly recommend customizing the form. Same thing when it comes to application, you have the same options as you saw in the other add-on, which is applying to all users or not. If you don't want to apply to all users, you can always filter by the different locations, departments, or if you're on the complete plan, you can use custom labels as well, which is great. I know some people label their users based on project, so that's also very handy to have. I'm going to apply to all users, and then again, you choose the different leave types you want this applied to. So I'm going to stick with paid time off and PTO, and I'm going to click save. And there we go. Once again, it has been activated. If I need to make changes, I can click on the actual policy, and you see here I can make any changes that I need to be made. Quite straightforward, quite simple. Again, you'll always see banners letting you know if ever you need to unsubscribe, which is great. And you could, I forgot to mention, you can also create multiple, right? I know I just created one here, but if I click create policy again, I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's quite high. You can create quite a few policies. So if you did want to really narrow this down by department or label or location, you can do that. If you have 20 locations, you can create 20 policies if that works for you. Obviously, if there's overlap, I recommend just grouping them together since it'll save you time. But yeah, that's essentially it. So I know that was kind of a breakneck pace, excuse me. I tend to talk fast when I'm excited, and obviously there's a lot of great features, a lot of great stuff. I really did want to show you some stuff upcoming, but I don't want to give away too much, but we do have some exciting stuff we're going to reveal in the coming months. You'll probably see some of it actually on our website at this point in time. So if ever you take a look there, you'll see some exciting stuff we have in the pipeline. But I think now is a good point to stop and maybe take some time to answer the questions. I know that's usually the most exciting part for most people, so we can go through them. Give me a sec here to stop sharing my screen. And if we need to, I'll reshare my screen, no problem, Alex, and we can go through it. But yeah, let's take some questions. Maybe I'll drink some water while I'm at it too. My God, sweating.
Yeah, relax for a second, and we'll dive into the questions.
Perfect. Oh my God. Before I forget, sorry, before we dive into the questions, I'm usually better with my memory. I'm going to open some polls. So if you don't know, again, if this is your first time office hours, we just release these polls just to kind of get a gauge of what you think of, office hours in general, topics you want us to cover, how easy you find to use vacation tracker. So I'm going to open those now. Please take the time. They're very straightforward, either multiple choice or just a button. And yeah, we really appreciate your feedback. This helps us kind of gauge where we want to go with the product, makes us hopefully deliver better value to you as customers. And yeah, just take the time. Okay, cool. I think I almost forgot that was close, touch and go there. Okay, Alex, we ready for some questions? I can see you're itching to start talking. So if you're ready, we can dive in. Perfect. Okay, let's start with the first one. How do you set up the hourly time slots for paid time off? I only see full day or half day. That's a good question.
Is a good question. And usually the reason why you see only the half day or a full day as a limit is because you're on a core plan. So the hourly leaves are only a part of the complete plan. So you would first need to upgrade the subscription in order to access that. Once you upgrade to complete plan, this alongside a lot of different features as well unlocks automatically, so you can revisit the leave policy and apply the hourly leaves.
Perfect. Yeah, just to point out, I guess to add on, you would change it in the leave policy section, right? Or sorry, it's where you assign in the locations, I believe.
Leave policies, yeah. So you would go to settings, locations, open the location you're applying it to, and find the leave policy there.
Okay. This question coming in from Michelle. I don't see the library option on my holidays. So when I was showing the tagging, how it showed library or custom, I'm wondering if maybe, I mean, it should be rolled out by now, all the update for that's been a few weeks since the holiday management's been overhauled, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is referring to there.
But when I was
would you
showing the holidays for the location, and it had like the yellow tag that said custom or library, she's not able to see library, I guess, as one of the options. Maybe it's just not showing the tag.
Yeah, sorry. That's actually a good question. Would you mind maybe trying to just log out and log back into your account, because some updates need the refresh of the login, and if it doesn't show, just reach out to us, share the screenshot of your holidays page, and we'll see what's happening there. So yeah, we'll need to look into it rather than just discuss it.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, this is a good question as well. I never thought of this, but Jennifer wanted to know if I wanted to turn on an add-on just to test, will it alert everyone?
No, it won't. So the add-ons are, in most cases, only available for administrators, and approvers can customize some of them, like blackout periods, but the administrator actually is the only person that has the ability to activate or deactivate the add-on. Now, of course, if you turn on the maximum users away add-on and you set it up, and a user requests to go over the maximum limit that you set up, of course they will be alerted, because it's going to apply to them, but it's not going to notify them about the actual activation of the add-on.
Perfect. That makes sense. Okay. This is a bit of a long one, so stay with me. Hello, we're rolling out vacation tracker this week and noticed that we have a Belgrade, Serbia team set up with their appropriate time zone. However, when they submitted time in their local time, the Google Calendar integration isn't showing that approved request at the appropriate correlating time zone for users viewing the calendar in their own non-Belgrade time zones. That's a mouthful. We're stumped as to how this is happening. Any suggestions, or can we ask you to review with us?
Yeah, so this, as far as I know, can happen for the iCal calendar sync. So I'm guessing you're not using the shared calendar connection that we offer for the complete plan. I don't really know what's happening with the iCal readings on Google, but you can reach out to us and we can ask our developers to look into it. So the issue there becomes, for the link of the iCal that we share and that you connect to Google, there's some issues with Google reading it, and I have no idea what's happening in the background. So we've had a couple of feedbacks like that recently, so there may have been an update on the way Google reads things, but yeah, we'll need to dive into that.
Perfect. Yeah, so in this case, maybe reach out to Hello At. That would be a good time to do it.
That's the best possible answer. Yeah.
Fantastic. Are you able to set max user away policy to specific users in a department?
That's also a good question. So unfortunately, you are not able to do that, because the actual add-on needs to apply to a group of people. So if you use the maximum users away, you need to limit the number of users that are away from a certain group. So it's either a location as a group, a department as a group, or a label as a group as well. So you can't limit an individual from leaving on their own.
Yeah.
I guess that's the most logical answer.
Yeah, the only workaround I can think of is, again, if you use the label aspect to label those users in that department, then you can apply it to them. But again, you still need to use that. There's no easy way just to select users.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, making sure I'm going in order here. In a previous office hours, it was mentioned that adding recurring leaves was on your roadmap. Is that still the case? Good question.
Good question. And it is. I know it is, but I don't have any TAs I can share right now. So yeah, the only thing we've been suggesting for a while as like a easier workaround than manually adding those leaves is the leave import feature that gives you an option to import a spreadsheet that contains 20 or 30 or 50 leaves in the future. But yeah, we are hoping it's going to be released soon. When? I don't know, David, your guess is as good as mine.
I don't want to say any dates. I can feel like Anna from Beyond just giving me a look if I was to say any dates. But I know I've seen it. It's on the roadmap. I just don't know when. Perfect. Here's a good question, and I've never thought about this either. Does the system notify a user if they're requesting a day that is already a holiday? And I think that'd be good to know if it does it for either a library holiday or a custom holiday.
It does, yeah. So the way Vacation Tracker looks at holidays, the holidays that you set up in locations, is that they're non-working days by default. Doesn't matter if it's a library holiday or a custom holiday. It's counted as a weekend if you have weekends off. So if a user tries to request a single day of leave right on the holiday, the system is not going to let them do that because they're spending 0 out of 0 hours away. So it's going to notify them with a pop-up message that they're requesting a day that's already free for them. So it's not going to take any time out of their balance.
Perfect. From Dawn, and this is related to a previous question. Is it possible to book leave in half-hour increments?
That's a feature that we are working on right now. I'm not sure if it's live or if it's coming out
Yeah.
in the coming weeks. But yeah, the team has been working hard on it. The first like prerequisite to that feature was the shorter time increments. You mentioned it at the beginning of this webinar with 15 and 30-minute options on the clock. We needed to set that up first in order to be able to enable people to request 15 and 30-minute leaves. The thing has been cooking for a while in the development, so I'm not sure if it was released last week or if it's going to be released in a few weeks, but it's definitely coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's. We've seen it. Alex and I have seen it, but I don't think it's released yet to everyone. I think they're still working on the bugs. You'd be surprised, obviously, when it comes to these very small things, how many bugs can appear. So I want to make sure, obviously, before we deliver to you guys, that it's bug free. Awesome. Question here: is it possible to add an hourly rate as an additional feature instead of upgrading my plan? That's a good question. I feel like people probably have that question pretty often, Alex.
Yeah, that is a good question, and I'm not sure if we have it as like an individual feature that can be pulled out of the complete plan. It's actually an amazing question because I don't think I have been asked that in chat. So could you send us an email to hello@ with that exact same questions, just so we know who to reach out to, and I'll check with our developers if that's an option, and yeah, we'll get back to you tomorrow, I guess.
Good. I'm also, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm typing all the answers as well. So if people forget what we're saying, I'm trying my best to succinctly summarize what you've been answering. Okay, from Larina, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Does Vacation Tracker provide a dual approval feature? So I'm thinking, Larina, that you mean that if multiple people, what's it called? Or if you have multiple approvers, but anyone can approve. In which case the answer is yes, right, Alex?
Yeah, so that would be a single level approval. The simpler flow that we offer, the usual one for the old vacation tracker users, where you just add as many people as you need as approvers in the department, and they all receive the leave request at the same time when it's submitted, and just one of them needs to respond to it. All of the other approvers that haven't responded to it receive a notification that the leave was already approved or denied. The other thing that this question could be leading to would be the multi-level approvals that you mentioned already. So it's not like two different approvers have
Correct.
to approve at the same time. It's the level 1 and then the level 2 approves.
Perfect. Kim, I see your question here. Where do we see what plan we have? If you're an admin, you can open the settings menu on the left-hand side and click on billing. Right at the top, it'll be told what plan you're on. If you're non-admin, you won't be able to see that. That was a question I had starting out. I was always wondering, like, how do I know what plan? It's because I was an admin. So hopefully answers your question. All right. Back to, I think, a more tricky question for you, Alex. Can I set the max users away add-on to cover year round? For example, if I want to set only 50% of staff away at any given time throughout the year, would I just change the date to cover the entire year, or is there a different way?
Yeah, it's as easy as you said right there in the question. So it's not really tricky. So in the period field of the max users away add-on, you would just select January 1st to December 31st, or if you want to be more fancy, you can select April 1st to March 31st. It doesn't really matter. And the add-on will be applied year round. So nobody could go on a leave if there were going over 50% of the users.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm just trying to type as quickly as I can. You're too fast. Okay. I know that there are annual accrual limits, but is there a way to set limits throughout the year? For example, we give 21 days of PTO per year, but we want to limit them to accruing and holding a max of 10 days at a time to encourage them to use all their PTO throughout the year, which I think is great, by the way. I love policies where they encourage that, but very good question.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So we do have a feature called an accrual cap, which I think could be a solution to this question. I'm not sure what the lowest multiplier for our accrual cap is, but I think we could introduce like lower numbers as well. So what the accrual cap actually does, I'll try to briefly summarize it because it's a difficult to explain feature. But you have help articles as well that can really dive in depth and show you use cases as well. So the accrual cap limits the maximum days that somebody can bank at any time. So if you're using the accruals and you have 21 days of annual leave, if you set an accrual cap to have a ×1 multiplier, the users that earn 21 days will not continue earning until they spend some of their leave. So I think that's relating to that. Of course, there's different multipliers. So there could be a 0.5 multiplier. So if there's 20 days, the cap would be 10. There's 3 times multipliers, which with 20 days would be 60 days or 3 years worth of vacation. But all in all, I think that would probably provide you with the best solution. Of course, with the accrual cap, there's a chance that the user misses the fact that they've accrued the limit, and then they lose some of their days in the future. But I'm sure that would encourage them to take some time off.
Perfect. Another question here. How can I configure vacation tracker to exclude weekends from appearing on the calendar once a vacation request has been submitted and approved?
Yeah, that relates to like multi-week leaves, and I don't think that's something we can do. So the system creates an event that lasts from a certain date till another date, and it covers the entire time period there. So if you don't want to cover weekends, in that case, I think instead of having one multi-week leave, you would have to create multiple single-week leaves. I don't know, Wednesday through Friday, and then next week, Monday and Tuesday, separately. So it would have to be 2 leave requests rather than 1.
Okay. Doing a great job, Alex, by the way. I feel like I should mention you're really answering these questions perfectly.
Good.
All right, we just have a few more, and then I'll release you. You'll go back to work. If a support team member requests vacation and includes a holiday that falls on a weekend, but is within their scheduled work days, should that holiday be deducted from their vacation days or not? That is a very, very good question.
So if you don't mind just reading back the thing. So the holiday falls on a weekend, but it's in their work week, right?
Yeah, so includes a holiday that falls on a weekend, but is within their scheduled work days. So these people or these users would work on the weekends as well. Is that holiday deducted from the vacation days or not?
Yeah, it's not going to be deducted. So usually the way the library holidays work in Vacation Tracker,
Hmm.
if a holiday falls on a weekend, that weekend date, the specific date, will be marked as a holiday, but you'll have a substitute or a replacement day for a Monday or a Friday the week before or week after. So if the holiday falls on a weekend and it's a part of the employee's work week, it's not going to be deducted from their leave quota.
Perfect. Okay. If you're using accrual-based vacation, is there a way to modify the accrual rate in the middle of the year? Example, earning 10 days per year, but then it needs to increase to 15 days per year at some point during the year without messing up the history.
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a feedback we've received quite a lot. Not as frequently, but every now and then it comes back to haunt us. That's not an option right now, which is why it's haunting us, but we would definitely want to introduce that in the future. So the thing with the calculations in Vacation Tracker when it comes to accruals is that the system will always divide the year into equal earning pieces. So if you have 12 days of quota for 12 months, it's going to divide them by 1 day per month in the accrual flow. If you then halfway into the year change those 12 days to 24 days, so the user should earn 2 days per month. But let's say you changed it in July, so it should apply to the second part of the year only. The system will actually go back and apply it from January, because if it's 24 days now, it needs to give all of those months 2 days to make it equal. So that's not a feature right now. Workarounds will be difficult around that, because you would actually need to manually calculate the amount of days that you need to additionally give to the user until the end of the year and add them into their balance. But yeah, we've received that feedback in the past. As I said, we've shared it with our product manager as well, and hopefully it's going to be brought in the future.
Nice. Again, there's a lot of features we want to deliver for sure, but obviously it's comes at the cost of time and priority. So I can imagine at some point this will happen. It's just who knows when, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, one more question, I think, because I don't see any more popping up. And then we'll be off. So if the max user way notification is sent to the person requesting that specific date, can they still proceed with the request, or does it automatically deny the request? There are at times where we make exceptions to override certain policies based on the reason of the request. Okay, I kind of see this as a two question, maybe.
Yeah, that is a great question. So remember on one of the previous questions when I said if a user requests a holiday as a day off, they
Right.
won't be allowed to submit the request. They will receive a pop-up in the top right corner saying you're requesting a non-working day. This will be kind of the same. So the request won't go through, because the system will bring out the pop-up with the auto reject response that you set up in the actual add-on configuration settings. Of course, for the users that are actually given, like for the exceptions, you as an admin, if you are an admin, can add a leave for them. So the user would actually need to come to you and say, hey, I wanted to request this, I couldn't because there's like a limit that you set up.
Yeah.
And you'd say, okay, give me the dates you want to take a leave for, and add the leave for them on their profile. So that should pretty much cover it. It's not the orthodox way of going through the approval flow, but when you add a leave for somebody as an admin, it's automatically approved, so you don't need to worry about it after that.
Perfect. All right. Well, listen, that was a lot of questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. If you don't mind, maybe giving some thumbs up or some clap emojis for Alex, who was a great co-host. I know he was a little bit nervous about doing this, but I think he did great. Answered all the questions. Appreciate you guys so much. We're going to close it off here. We look forward to you at the next office hours. If you're new here, again, now you have a sense of how this kind of works. We try to do these monthly, give or take. It's whenever we have some features we think are worthwhile to share with you guys, and obviously some questions that you need to be answered. We're going to close it here in about 10 minutes or so. That's when Zoho is supposed to send you the recording, so you can always watch back. And again, if ever you delete the email by accident, no sweat. We upload it to our website and to YouTube, so you always have access, not to even just this one, but all our history of office hours since before I was even here. So there's a lot to go through, excuse me, if ever you have an interest in that kind of stuff. So once again, Alex, thank you for joining me. And yeah, we'll close it here.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
You heard that anytime. So I guess have a new co-host. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. Everyone, have a great rest of your day. Take care now.